My name is Dr. Alainati. Today I'm going to talk about job satisfaction. It is highly known that high quality of services in the industry, the dentistry industry, relies heavily on job satisfaction. Job satisfaction leads to a higher quality of performance and also leads to organizational performance or organizational commitment. This is an introduction of my research. We will focus on the Kuwait. Oh, it's not too positive.
Minus.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll try to speak loudly. So, in Kuwait industry, we're going to focus on the concept or the context of Kuwait industry. We will look into the public and private sectors, and we will discuss how the job satisfaction affect organizational commitment in both sectors, of course. So in the literature review, I'm going to start with the job satisfaction factors. We have two factors in here, the intrinsic satisfaction versus the extrinsic satisfaction. I'm going to the other side. So for the intrinsic satisfaction, it relies on personal fulfillment, autonomy, responsibility, opportunity to grow, and so on. So the more employees or dentists are satisfied, they will be more happy and committed to their organization. In this part, they will have the feeling of recognition, sense of achievement, and so on. Whereas in the intrinsic satisfaction, it wants something like compensation or salary. So the higher salary, let's say, they give them, the more committed they will be for their organization. Not only that, but also they need to have supportive kind of management and policies. Also, for the organizational commitment types, I have three types: the effective commitment, the continuous commitment, and the normative commitment. For the effective commitment, emotional attachments is what guides this factor, when employees stay in this organization because they believe in the value of their organization. They have high effective to their leaders, to their organizational value, therefore they follow them and they stand for their values. Whereas for the continuous commitment, they perceive costs leaving is very high. So in other words, they stay in their organization because they have the financial stability. Usually we will see this in the governmental sector because they do have stable kind of jobs and job security as well. And this is the normative commitment. So they have a sense of moral obligation to stay in their organization. Usually this is influenced by the Kuwaiti culture or societal obligations where they have to have their committee, they follow them, they have their norms, and they have their rules as well. In the cultural influence commitment, we have the cultural context of Kuwait. So where's the cultural influence on the commitment or on the Kuwaiti culture? We have two things. We have the collectivist value, which they have a high value and loyalty to their groups, and it's also this is also in Kuwait. And we have normative and continuous kind of commitment, where people commit to their group and they stay with their group because they live most likely in groups. So going to the public and the private sectors, we will focus on the stability. In the public sectors, they focus on the stability of the job. They know they're not going to be, laid out. So there will be less turnover in this sector, the public sector, whereas in the private sector, they have more autonomy and financial growth. They have more flexibility in their career advancement. So this is the difference between public and private sectors. In our research methodology, we use two hypotheses. The first hypothesis indicates that strong correlation between job satisfaction and organizational commitment, whereas in the second hypothesis, there's a clear difference between the types of organizational commitment among dentists in the private and the public sector. So our sample is 225 dentists across public and private sectors, clinics of course in Kuwait. We use for the research method two tools. We use Mayer and Allen's organizational commitment, the one that I just mentioned, which is the effective, continuous, and normative commitment, and we use the the Minnesota satisfaction the questionnaire associated with intrinsic and extrinsic job satisfaction. And the analysis we use for multiple regression analysis. And for the result, in the job satisfaction factor, in the intrinsic factors, we can find that the authority and the independence and the job security perceive employees or makes people, dentists of course, high in their job satisfaction. They have more satisfaction in their job. Whereas, so in other words, dentists who feel valued, they are reported to increase their satisfaction in their jobs. The intrinsic is where the compensation and the organizational policies and supportive supervision. There is high external rewards. Again, it's the high salary, and it's the organization policies and their management support system, what makes them stay in their organization or committed to their organization. And the job satisfaction factors, we have also a general satisfaction, which is a blend of the intrinsic and the extrinsic factors. For the organizational time, for the effective commitment, it shows that high average score indicates strong emotional attachments among dentists. So the more effective commitment organization or the employees have, the more committed they are to their organization. In other words, they have more moral attachment to their organization, and they do believe in their value, the organizational value. That makes them more attached to their organization. Whereas in the continuous commitment, public sector's dentists stay due to financial stability. So the private sector, what keeps them is the high salary. Normative commitment, loyalty influenced by culture and social expectations. So this is our data. As you can see over here, the mean of the intrinsics, eccentrics, and the general satisfaction was the combination of both of them. The effective commitment, the continuous commitment, and the normative commitment, the majority of the mean is above 3, you can say. So it is more into agreeing into the committing of their organization. And there is a significance of general satisfaction job, which is the intrinsic and the extrinsic together, towards the, let me see the table just to make sure. Yes, we can see over here that the factors of intrinsic and eccentric and the general satisfaction, we can see that they relate or they explain more than 50% of the effective commitment. So the norm of having believing in the value of your organization makes employees or dentists more attached and committed to their organization. This is the highest factor in here, whereas the continuous commitment and the normative commitment, we can see that the values as well are positive, which means or indicates that they do have commitment regarding each one of these factors of commitment. So in general, high satisfactions drives stronger commitment, and which is made also by the literature review previously. And the sectors, private sectors, emphasize on autonomy, financial growth, and that's what attracts dentistry in the private sector, whereas in public sectors, prioritize job security benefits and social paid back, and that's what attracts them to stay in the private and the public sectors. Almost done. The dentistry management. So key takeaways, the last one I'm going to discuss. There's a strong correlation between job satisfaction and organizational commitment, and there is an effective commitment, and the strongest type of them is the effective commitment, not the normative or the other one. So this is something that human resource management should look at when they employ their dentistries in the private or the public sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Dr. I might have a question.
Simple question.
Yeah.